Hey guys, we'll take a look at the Chronicles of Destiny Fortune cards. The creators are Josephine and Emily Ellishaw, and the artwork is by Claudia McKinney. This is what the box will normally look like. Straight off, the presentation is great and you will not be disappointed. The box is created to look like a book and it's really done nicely. What I also like is the way the box kind of like opens up and how it kind of like will reveal the contents inside. So inside of the box, you will get your guidebook and the cards. So overall, the box is a hardcover box with ribbon hinges, and it's got a magnetic kind of like closure as well. So here's the ribbon there. It's a magnetic closure, and then you're presented with your book and your cards. A total of 60 cards and a 208-page guidebook, which is fully colored as well. So right out of the box, you get the hard box cover, which I've always used and kept. You get the nice size booklet, and then you get the decks themselves. Cards come gilded gold, glossy and fairly thin. They are kind of like on a slightly larger size than your regular Toro cards as well, but overall they're very nice. I mean, like I said, they are quite fairly thin. Hopefully you can see it quite clearly there. You know, the size, they're okay, slightly larger, but not so much, slightly larger than the Toro. Now here you could see my decks are pretty much used up. That's because I've had it for quite a very long time. So, you know, they don't normally come like this, of course, but overall they're not bad decks. This is what the back of the card will look like. Very nice digital design of what, it looks amazing. Very fantasy fairy tale like. As you can see, the cards are glossy and all of the image are digital, which I don't really mind, to be honest, as long as it's done or comes out pretty nice as it does here. So you kind of like got this bordered in the image itself. You got this kind of like gold line kind of like traces the border of the image, and underneath you'll get the number and the name of the card. The card stock overall, I think it's excellent. Very, very good. These will last you quite a bit. I can't really say much about the edges. When you use them and you do shuffle, maybe that's the only thing that tends to kind of like weigh off come near the time. So we're going to dive in, have a look at the card, and then we'll cover the book and everything near the end. So we've got our card 1, 2, and 3. Card number 1 is chapter 1 of the story, The Enchanted Emporium. The moral of this story is around learning, my least favorite card. Card number 2 is chapter 2, Guardian of the Books. The moral of this story is all about occupation. Card 3 is chapter 3, the hero. Moral of this story is the seeker himself or herself in the next card, card 4, the Hurrian. And then we have card 5, chapter 5, dreams. The moral of that story is about future plans. And then we have card 6, which is chapter 6, the call. And the moral of the story here is all about offers being made. Now, you probably have no idea what I'm going on about. There is so much to cover about these cards, so rather than go through each one and making no sense, I'm going to kind of mix it up and give you a general overview of what this deck is about, what it means, while you look at the cards and see if they resonate with you or not. So these cards in this deck communicates its messages through storytelling. And this is how you kind of connect with these cards for guidance. I would say these cards are more towards Oracle instead of Toro. The deck is a lot more precise, for sure, than any Oracle deck beyond the style of reflection. And, Oracles also don't tend to have a story behind a lot of them, and it's more about random cards. And where Toro is concerned, it's all about, to me, creating the story or bringing it all together. So this one, you kind of have to have a different approach when you're using this deck. So each card represents a chapter in the larger story that is being told here, which is easy to follow along with the book, so you've got nothing to worry about there. So each card numbered from 1 to 60 are chapters, which is kind of part of this continuous story, this book that you're going through. In the book, which we'll cover at the end of the video, you will have the cards here that's on display. Now that card will represent a chapter according to its number, and that will have a moral of the story associated with that card, which is basically your delivery meaning of the card. That was, what the card is all about, basically. For example, card 13 here will be chapter 13 of the story. The key word is time flies. The moral of the story, what the card means or addresses, is anything to do with fast moving time frame and things happening quickly. Yes, the image at times will not fully resonate that message. We'll cover that later. And here, in card number 14, chapter 14, the moral of that story is all about foreign connection of people or places, a long journey, expanding your horizon, unfamiliar places, or moving outside of your own comfort zone. And card 15, chapter 15, is the lighthouse. The moral of that story is warning signs, red flags, something demands your attention, proceed with caution. Now, all of that on its own may make no sense whatsoever, especially when doing readings. But if you were to bring together the various chapters, it will make a lot more sense. So chapter 13 was all about time flies, things happening so quickly. If you were to add chapter 14 to it, that was about foreign connection or long journey. So together you would have an interpretation of things are going to move fast unexpectedly for you. You're going to be traveling abroad to a country you have never been to. This is going to be out of your comfort zone. So you get where it goes. And chapter 15 was the lighthouse, was all about proceed with caution. So if you were to add that with the two chapters, you come to the conclusion of, this opportunity is going to come out of nowhere, where I'm going to have to travel abroad, but I don't have the full picture. Something doesn't feel right. I need to slow down and properly review this opportunity. So pretty much this is the way you kind of have to approach this deck. The interpretation is, it is easy to kind of like formalize when you bring the whole story together and you use the various different spreads that is available. So again, the way to use this deck, you have to weave together various different cards, and that will present to you a story which will be your interpretation or guidance of what you are seeking. Now, sometimes you may find the guidebook lacking or don't really always resonate with some of the images. And the image do tend to kind of, on itself, tend to invoke deeper feelings. So with card combination and in the interaction with the story, that will kind of like help you, guide you to kind of like work closely or build a connection with these cards. What I would advise for this deck is for you to develop your own use for them. Find your own way of interpreting these cards. This is pretty much encouraged by the authors, because a lot of the things in here may not resonate with you and you may get stuck. So to me, the deck was created in a way to be flexible. Your way of interpreting, using this card to interpret whatever it is that you're seeking from them. I mean, this deck opens the flexibility to do your own interpretation. Now, I use this deck mainly for only shadow work, nothing else. The reason is because I find this deck to be perfect for that purpose, personally for me. The cards are very accurate in revealing problems around you, coming to you. You can really address a lot of things as well, or bring into light certain areas in your life that needs your utmost attention. I mean, they're very good at that. It brings a lot of awareness in its cautious messages, and you can really um, dive deep into the situation, unravel your story, and what's going on in your life. The digital images are beautiful, as you can see. Some of them do kind of look weird or too dark, like the two cards you have here, where it's a bit somewhat too dark. But overall, majority of them do look beautiful, and I find again you can have a deeper connection with each of these cards outside of the book, and really become sort of creative with these cards. Where create your own story, bring your own creation together. You create your own spreads with the various different questions you have, and the more you get used to using this deck, the amount of creativity that it will pull out of you, the various different ways and approach you can have in use, interpretation or creating a story of your own, is vast, and it's truly amazing, truly amazing. Gorgeous image. I mean, the imagery, a lot of them look so beautiful. We have Weaver of Words, chapter 38. It's all about the small little things we learn and discover that has a massive potential. 39, Resolve, about taking action, having courage of your convictions, determination. We've got the Phoenix, Conflict, and Victory. Love the Phoenix card. The Phoenix card is all around rebirth, second chance, revived, or something resurrected. Powerful card. Love it. 41, Conflict. Again, a gorgeous card. It's about arguments, quarrels, upheavals, the image of a person surrounded by fire in a battle. So in order to find out where the problem lies regarding whatever this conflict is, you would pull other cards. It can be family, friends, co-worker, and so on. We also had the Victory card, which was about success, achievement, coming up triumphant and everything. Or it can simply mean yes. We have Book of Destiny. It's all about shaping your destiny, taking action steps to pursue it as well. Ruler of Realms. Really powerful image here. Love it. Higher power or authority, the law, officials, or a large structure, organization. That is the main meaning. It means nothing unless, of course, you bring other cards to kind of find out what it is about. Knighthood, the story is about awards and honors, promotion, recognition of some kind, or someone who holds you in highest esteem. Treasure, chapter 46. Treasure, well, it's all about material possessions, finance, money, or it could be about someone who is precious to you, valued or treasured. Union, the image does a good job of putting that on display. It's all about commitments, marriage, celebrations, happy romantic relationships, settling down, and we have the gorgeous, beautiful bliss on display, happiness, contentment, the moral story of the card. It's easy to see. It's also a time of celebration and time of joy. So here is our last bunch of cards in terms of the characters. 54. There still is more cards following that. So we have card 49, the calendar. I guess it's instances here where sometimes the images doesn't really kind of resonate a lot of that. Here we have alchemy, kind of, yes, you're creating something out of nothing. You've got the butterfly queen, which looks absolutely gorgeous. You've got the various different forms, colors, and butterflies of various, there's transformation happening in there. You've got the castle card here, very lonely image card 52, review card 53. It's about, remaining still, assessing your life, where you currently are on your path. And then lastly, we have, I love the image of her face there, the mastery, taking control of everything. So these are the last of the cards that makes up, majority of the chapters. Now you have these supporting cast cards, additional cards there, like it says, to further support the story. The cards are used to provide further insight on persons or outcomes of events that's taken place, part of that story. Pause to kind of read and see what it pretty much says there. So you get 4 cards, and those 4 cards are based on seasons and timing. You've got the Lady Spring, Lady Summer, Lady Autumn, and Lady Winter. So Lady Spring, spring itself, all about new cycle, beginning, maybe possible pregnancy. The timing is March, April, May. Lady Summer, the course of celebration, blossoming. The timing of that is the months of June, July, and August. Lady Autumn is keywords is abundance, harvest, collecting rewards. Timing will be September, October, and November. Lady Winter, patience, solitude, withdrawal, feeling isolated. And the timing, of course, will be December, January, and February. Now, these cards, they won't have moral of the story, they just seem to have keywords. And then we have our final 2 cards, number 59 and number 60, the supporting cast. So these you can use these to kind of replace the hero and the heroine in the original chapter. So where you had a male or female, you can kind of use these cards there to kind of replace all of that. So pretty much here is what you can see, where you've got the main characters of the main story, which can be replaced. And pretty much here in the book, it's kind of, explains it straight out for you. Can be used as an alternative, a card to switch with the hero for same-sex reading if needed be. And it's exactly the same for the alternative version as well there. So in the book, you get plenty of kind of like understanding, explanation as to what the cards are. And here, for example, is one of the winter cards as well. It pretty much gives you the keywords of that, what I've highlighted, the season, and overall you get a summary of that winter card. Now when it comes to the main cards, you'll have a full color picture. You'll see here the number underneath. You'll have the moral of the story of that particular card, and then on to the right you've got the chapter segment of the story and how it's portrayed. Below is the card definition. Pretty much gives you a full account of the card's meaning beyond that moral of the story, which is quite lengthy. So throughout the book, this is pretty much the way it's laid out. You get the full colored image of the card, the moral of that story of that card, what the card is about in particular. And then you go into the segment of the story, and below that you've got further, a full account, meaning of that card. And it's pretty much throughout the entire deck. Now, what I'm going to do is just give you a little example of how you would use the deck. So I would ask the question, what do I need to know? I pull out the first card and it's talking about a bunch of conflicts going on around me, or, something that's upcoming that's going to really cause a lot of problems for me. So I want to further investigate, who's going to be part of this problem? What is the cause? And here you'll get the elder card. So it could be an elderly person, maybe a family member, or if it can possibly be someone in your relationship. It can be your partner, or it can be your friends. So if you pull out another card here, Let's just say, for example, fellowship. Fellowship is all about friends and everything like that. So already I've asked a question, you know, what do I need to be aware of? Well, there's going to be a bunch of conflict, and you want to kind of like figure out, what's this conflict about? Who are these people that's going to cause this conflict or the circumstance? And I've pulled out a few scenarios of the people that can be part of that problem. And then the next card here, the Herion, is where, what is this problem about? What is this conflict, primarily on? It can be about my partner. It can be about my wealth. It can be about my money. Or it can be about me deciding to leave everyone behind and travel to a foreign country. So you see, you've already built up a story, a scenario, an interpretation. I can further ask, when is this going to all take place? This is all going to take place during this the spring season, through the months highlighted and the timing. So, how is it going to make me feel if I still decide to pursue this journey? It's going to bring me a lot of happiness. So here in itself, just like a quick little example, just to give you a rough idea of how to use these cards, where you have a problem, you want to find out who are those people that's going to cause you that problem. What is that, what is it about that situation that they don't like, when it's going to happen, and sort of like the corresponding cards and the general outcome. So really it's not that complicated to use. In the book, let's look at the book. You get a lengthy introduction. You've got all your basic stuff, how to ask questions, specific questions for yourself and others, all about the various different spreads that is available. And there is a lot of spreads available. You get an open book spread. You get a summary spread. Everything is nicely laid out for you to use. An alternative reality spread. There's a relationship spread. Plenty of information. You're walked through everything. A sequel spread. I think there's quite a bit of spread actually, more than 10. There's a story spread, and then there's this section here about how to create your own theme, your own story. It talks you through it, the various different spread techniques to use, an example of using theme cards and not using theme cards as well, part of the spread as well. How to use the spreads to calculate the time periods, with the winter season spreads, the season spreads, I should say. And there's a great little part of the book at the back. If you want to have a quick glance of what all of these cards mean, you can pretty much go at the very end of the book, and it shows you the chapters, keywords, and gives you kind of like the brief meaning, which is awesome. And further at the back of the book, you will get information and pictures of the two creators, well, three creators, I should say, with the artists as well. Their contact details, websites, everything that you need to know if you want to follow them. And what's also, again, an extra bonus here, at the back of the book, you get a few sections to provided so you could put notes if you need to. So there's a lot packing in this nice little book, so much information in there. So that was a look at the Chronicles of Destiny fortune cards. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I know a lot of you wanted to see this up. Overall, it's a great card. It does take time. It's slightly different to all of the others, but I think that's what makes it unique, fresh, and completely different to all of the others. So gorgeous card. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Watch out for the next one.